everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today, and before we get started, be sure that you're signed up for my free newsletter over at CorinneBlackstone.com. It's completely free to sign up and I don't spam you. You get maybe one email a month if we're lucky, but it's a great way that I let you know if there's something new and exciting happening, new tutorials, or lots of new free stuff on my website. Now in today's video, we're going to go over two products and kind of go over the difference between the two. We are going to talk about UV DTF, which is ultraviolet direct to film printing, and then we'll talk about the difference between that and using regular adhesive vinyl. And for this process, we are going to order everything from 143 Vinyl, and I'm going to go over the process of both types of products. We're going to talk about the cost versus the time on both products as well. So in the comments, let me know which one you think is going to be less expensive and which one you think is going to take longer to make. I think I was pretty impressed with both products, but I can't wait to see what you guys think as well. Now everything is from 143 Vinyl, so don't forget every time you order with them, you can use code Corinne to save 5% on anything off their website. Now, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how to order everything, cut the vinyl, apply everything, and then we'll talk about the time and cost of the entire projects. We're going to start here at 143 Vinyl, and we're going to order our UV DTF. So all we need to do is go down to UV DTF decals. Now don't forget, anytime you order with 143 Vinyl, use code Corinne. That way you can save yourself 5%. I want to go to the layout designer and choose that one. Now for this one, I'm going to start with the 6x6, but I think we're going to actually do a probably bigger one. But what I want to do first is I'm going to click new, and that is to add the layer. And then I need to go and choose my image. My image I have saved into the folder with all the rest of the UV DTF stuff. So I want to use this 3B SVG. And here is our design. Now, like I said, I do want to go bigger. I'm going to make these about 7.5 inches. So we're going to go to the size 8 here. And then to size this, all I want to do is select the layer, and you can see here that it gives me my sizing. I'm going to size it down to 7.5 inches. And I have a ton of space on this, so let's go ahead and duplicate this just to fill it up. I'm going to select my bees and I'm going to click duplicate, and then I'm going to put 3 sets of them on this 8x8 inch little gang sheet here. And that way I have some extras if I want to use them for something else, or maybe I mess them up, whatever I've got going. Now, once I've got my bees and they're all where I want them to be, I want to change and save my project name. So I'm going to call it Bees for Test. And then I want to just click Save Project. You're not going to be able to add it to your cart until you save it, but it should save no problem. And then I'm just going to click Add to Cart. Then you can either make a new project, keep shopping, or view your cart, or check out. So here is the price. It's going to cost me $5.75, and that's going to be for 9 total bees. Now I'll show you this part where I add all the vinyl in, but our total cost right now with our 5 sheets of vinyl and our little bees is $9. But remember, the bees are going to be $5.75, but you're getting 3 sets of the bees. Now we're going to order the adhesive vinyl that we need for the project, and we're going to order that from 143 Vinyl. Remember, anytime you order with 143, you can always use code Corinne to save 5%. So I'm going to go to adhesive vinyl, and we're going to use my favorite StarCraft HD, and we're going to get it in the matte version just because that's the one that I prefer. I'm going to go with the 12x12 sheets because we don't need a lot of it. And then we're going to go ahead and add what we need. So we need white. And these sheets are 65 cents a piece. We'll also need yellow. So I think I'm going to go with the regular yellow, not bright yellow. And then we're going to need a blue for the wings, which I think we'll go with sky blue for the wings. And then we also need black, which I totally forgot, which is up here. So we got to get black. And I think that's everything for our bees. We only needed 4 colors, but I'm just going to kind of scroll through, double check. Oh no, we need pink for the cheeks. So I think we'll go with powder pink for the cheeks. All right, we've got our vinyl. So let's take a look at the cost for just the vinyl itself. So if you needed to make this project, you didn't have any vinyl on hand, you're looking at about $3.25 for the cost of your vinyl, and that's for the 5 colors that you will need in order to make your bee. Now, granted, you're not going to use all the vinyl, so you will have leftovers for other projects, but this is just something I wanted to show you so that you could see that you, in fact, you know, the price of each of the colors of the vinyl. Now, let's go ahead and head over to Design Space, and I'm going to show you how to set up your bee to cut out. We'll get it cut out, and we're going to time everything with timestamps in the video so that you can see how long it takes. We're going to load the SVG over here into Cricut Design Space. So all I want to do is click upload, and then I'm going to click upload image, click browse, and then you'll find the image that you want to use. I have mine saved in my UV DTF verse vinyl, and I called it 3B. So here's the little 3 fat bees that we're going to make, and I'm going to click upload. And then all I need to do is select this design and add it to my canvas. Now, what's kind of cool about this is it's all set, you know, together, but look how big it loads. We don't want it that large. So I'm going to go ahead and change the width just to, I think 7.5 was what we're going to use for the total width of our bees. Now, what you'll see here is they look like they're all one piece, but if you go over to this group option and you click this little down arrow, and then click down again, you're going to see all the pieces and parts of our bee. And there are quite a few pieces and parts. So I'm going to ungroup everything so that we can get this set up to cut correctly. And these are steps that you'll have to follow if you want this to cut right to create your design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup, and then I have to ungroup each individual bee as well. So I'm going to click each bee and ungroup it. And you can see now that we have tons and tons and tons of layers. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find these yellow pieces right here. And I'm going to find those 3 big yellow pieces, and I'm going to combine them, and I'm going to use the unite option just so that they'll hold together and they're like one layer. It's just going to help us reduce our layers so that we can get a really good look at all the pieces that we have. The next thing I want to do is find these wings, and there should be 3 of those total, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to combine and unite. And then as we kind of unite them, we can hide our layers, and it may help us see what we're working with a little bit better. So now we've got the little pink cheeks and the little white eyeballs. So we're going to go for the little pink cheeks next. I think that should be the cheeks. If you're not sure, you can just hide it, and then you can just look and make sure that's the cheeks. So I'm going to grab these little pink cheeks. I'm going to combine and unite. And then I'm going to hide those again. And then the last piece that I'm going to do are these white eyeballs. I'm going to combine and unite. Now, the thing is, they have the little stingers as separate colored pieces, but we're not going to do that. So in order to just kind of fix all of that, you can just delete these little triangles, which are the stingers. You'll see kind of how it goes away. You can see that like little light gray area. We're not going to do that. We're going to get rid of them. It's like an extra little step that is not necessary. They will look fine with just the stinger not being completely like a different color. So now I'm going to bring all my pieces back in, and you can see it's ready to go. Like this one's not too bad as far as getting it set up to cut, but it is just a little bit easier. Oh, and one more thing, because I'm going to want these to hold in place, I'm going to go ahead and unite all 3 of these as well. That way everything just holds together, and I'm not really worried about, you know, anything moving around. So now I can kind of move all my pieces around and they'll hold in place. You don't have to do that if you want to be able to move your bees individually, but because that's the way I have them set up on the UV DTF, I'm going to do it the same way here on the vinyl. That way it shows the same. So we're cutting this on adhesive vinyl. We don't need to mirror it, but I am going to save this. And I'm going to call this 3B's UV V vinyl. That's because we're going to be obviously, and I realized I typed VU instead of UV. We're going to be comparing the UV versus the vinyl, the UV DTF. So now what I'm going to do now that I've saved it is I'm going to click make it, and you'll see that it's going to pull up all the colors of our vinyl that we need. So we have white, we have pink, we have black, yellow, and then the light blue. Now we're going to need to cut out each of those layers, and then we're going to need to layer them onto our vinyl. So let's head over to the machine and start cutting. We're ready to cut the vinyl for our bee. I've got it all in order. So we'll start with our little dots for our eye. And then I'll let you know how long this cut took, because again, I'm gonna speed this up. And so that way you can see kind of how long it takes to do vinyl versus the UV DTF. Next thing we have to do is layer all of our vinyl. So I like to start with our bottom layer, and I just sort of go through and figure out, okay, what layer do I want to do, and then what layer do I want to do, and I just sort of go from there. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the pink cheeks really quick, because those will be easy to line up on the yellow. So I'm just going to put those kind of in the center of our design, of our like transfer tape. I have a pretty big piece of transfer tape here, and then I'm gonna go as fast as I can so that like I'm gonna do this just like I would if I was doing this without filming. And I'm gonna go ahead and layer the yellow and the pink together first. Now with this, I can go like design by design, or I can layer them all at once. It's really kind of up to you. But since these are just little cheeks, I don't think it really totally matters if they're perfect. And then I got this little section here that folded over on itself. Pull that off, which of course decided to rip. That's okay. I'm gonna trim this bottom part off. We don't need this section right here, like at all. We don't really need any of like this lower part. I need the upper part for the wings, but we're gonna do those after we place the yellow onto our black. But I'm gonna use some parchment paper to help me layer the yellow onto the black. I'm gonna layer the yellow onto the black, so I'm gonna grab my squeegee. I'm gonna burnish this one. And the parchment paper allows me to move it around a little bit. That way, if I make a mistake or anything, I can easily just kind of move it around. When you're doing a larger design like this, where you have a lot of pieces, using this parchment paper method makes it so much easier to layer your designs. So once you're happy with them, I've got a little section of my transfer tape that's hanging off, and I just want to get these lined up, and I'm going to move my transfer tape a little bit and my parchment paper. I want a little bit more of my bees hanging off there. And I just want to make sure all three are where I want them to be. I want to move them down a little bit more. So this part is where it's going to take a little bit of your time, because you want to make sure you get these right where you want them. And if you don't, you got to start over. Now I will say there's a little bit of static, which is not helping the situation, but this is how I would layer normally. So I wanted to kind of keep it as normal as I could. All right, I think that, see, and the problem is I keep setting it down and then it moves. All right, that's good enough. We'll go with that. That looks pretty good. So then I'm going to press this down, remove the parchment paper, and get the yellow pressed down. Now I'm not going to use my squeegee because I don't want the black to pick up with my transfer tape, because I want to put the wings down and then the eyepieces. And we may just do the eye dots individually. But now I need to pick up the wings. So I'm gonna get those towards like the bottom of the transfer tape. That way they're not all covering the bees. And we'll burnish those. And then again, I'm gonna peel the backing off. And we can use the parchment paper again if we want to, but I think I'm just gonna go individual bee by individual bee. And set those ones down. And then you can kind of see I'm holding up the other wings away from the vinyl so that they don't stick. Get those laid down. And then the last set, get those down. Those look pretty good. Now the last thing we have to do is the little whites in the eyes. So I'm just gonna trim off a little bit of transfer tape. I'm not gonna use a ton. And all I'm gonna do is go through and grab the two eyes off of the backing and put those on to my bee. And I'm gonna do one bee at a time. So I'm just gonna grab, well, he gets one eye piece because that's all that came up. And that's okay because they did shift a little when I was weeding because these are a really teeny tiny detail. This one doesn't wanna come. There we go, got it. So this is just a quick little trick if you don't feel confident kind of using these little bits and lining them all up at once. Just do one at a time and that's totally okay. You can do that if that feels more comfortable to you. All right, there we go. Our bees are all put together. It took a little under 5 minutes, and there we go. Now we're gonna apply these to the same blanks. You can see the difference between the UV DTF and the vinyl. I'm gonna use this metal sign. I think it's perfect. It'll give us a lot of space. And honestly, I have had it for years and have never used it. So this will be the perfect item to place these on. That way you can see them next to each other and we can really talk about the difference. So let's apply our vinyl first. So you're gonna need transfer tape and you're gonna want to use your squeegee. And then I'm just gonna burnish this down so that the bees stick to the transfer tape. Then you want to remove your backing just by rolling that off. And again, I'm timing everything, so don't worry, we're gonna be able to tell. So let's put our vinyl right about here. So I'm gonna set it down, and I just kind of work my way from one end to the other. That helps not get any bubbles. And this should really like to stick because it's metal, so it should stick pretty well. Those look really cute. They're adorable. They're so, so cute. I do have a little bubble right here, but I think I can press it out. Yep, all right, got his little bubble kind of out of the way. Oh, you know what? That's a little nick in the metal, so that's not actually bubble. That's just a nick in the metal, so that's okay. It's no big deal. Now, I want to show you our UV DTF sheet. So I ordered the set of 3, just to fill up our sheet, but I could have just ordered 1. It was no big deal. But I figured I would just cover all bases, and I can always use these for something else. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to trim, and again, I'm going to time everything, because obviously I'm recording, so I can see how long it takes me. So I'm going to trim these down. And what's kind of cool about these is you don't have to really trim them real good. You can just sort of lop off the extra plastic on them. And I just want to get around that guy. Now, all I need to do is remove the backing. So this is a clear backing that's on here, and it's kind of like transfer tape on the front. So you just need to separate them. And sometimes they can feel like they don't want to come apart. And you just try a couple different corners. If you can't get them to come apart, you can always use your pin pen again. Pin pen is super handy for lots and lots of things, but we'll use it for this because sometimes I have a hard time getting the backing off of the designs, and that's just a me thing. And it's not every time, it's just sometimes. So with this one, I am struggle bussin', but once you get it, it's fine. Like, it's super easy once it comes off. There we go, I got it. So what you'll do is you just peel this backing off, and that reveals your stickiness. Now I will let you note, these are just slightly different sizes, just a little bit. It's just maybe because I didn't size them exactly the same, but they're pretty close. So then again, all you do is I'm gonna do it the same way. I'm gonna set down one end. Oh no, and I've got some dog hair under it. Oh, no, it's on top. Okay. And then all I do is I press it down just like I did with the vinyl, and I just press him down, and I go from one side to the other, and that just helps me so that I don't get any bubbles. And then you use your squeegee, just like you would with vinyl. Go ahead and burnish it down. And then you can peel this off just like transfer tape, but you want to go pretty slow. You just want to take your time just like you do with transfer tape, and you want to make sure you're peeling at a sharp angle. Now here's one thing that happens every once in a while, and I don't know how well you can see it. Every once in a while you'll get a piece that might want to rip. But what's really great about these UV DTF is even if it rips, you just press it right back down and you can't even see the rip anymore. So that's why I say go slow with them. You don't want to pull them up straight. You want to just fold them over, and then you just want to go slow, especially if you've got little sections like that. But you can see here, and this is extremely sticky, this backing. So just be aware of that. It is really, really sticky. So you may just need to take your time. So again, I had a little rip. I have that occasionally on my designs, and like I said, it's okay. Just burnish it down a little bit. And then again, just take your time pulling back your sheet because these are sticky. So I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna pull this back, and I actually think I'm gonna change my angle so that I have a little bit better angle on it. And voila. Now occasionally the backing will rip like that, totally fine, no big deal. Again, very similar to transfer tape that does that too. Just kind of pull it together, you're fine. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this, and then I'm gonna give you guys a really up close view so that you can really see the difference in what these look like. Sets of bees are all finished, so I just want to go over how long each took. The UV DTF took a total of 6 minutes and 12 seconds. That includes ordering and applying and everything else. But the vinyl took 20 minutes and 10 seconds, which also included ordering, designing, cutting, weeding, and applying. So that one definitely took way longer. Now, as for cost, your UV DTF cost you $5.75. There's no actual additional cost because everything else you need is included in that. The vinyl for your design cost $3.75, and that's 5 sheets of 12 by 12 vinyl. So cost-wise, it is a little bit cheaper to do this in vinyl, but time-wise, it's way faster to do UV DTF. I also feel like UV DTF is a lot more durable than vinyl. So if you're going to be using this on something that is going to require a little more durability, definitely look into UV DTF for this. I think both are a great option, but it's just going to depend on how much time you have and how much you really want to work with layering. And if it's something that has a ton of layers, UV DTF may be the way to go. The other thing is you're limited by the vinyl colors. So if your UV DTF has some very different colors in it, you may be better off sticking with UV DTF if you want those exact colors. You may not be able to match those within your vinyl options. Now, I love both of these products. They both have a place in my heart for sure, and hopefully yours as well. If you want to order anything that we used here, be sure to use code Corinne at 143vinyl, and I'll link everything down below, including our cute little bees if you want to check those out as well. If you have any questions, let me know in those comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Be sure you're subscribed here, that way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.